Hello and welcome to Cucina Pazzo. Tonight we're going to be making some keto pasta. So we're going to be using a new ingredient called Lupin flour. So I recently got this flour online. I found this recipe, tweaked it a little bit. Haven't tried it yet, but I've made homemade pasta before, and if you haven't made homemade pasta, it's very easy to do. And it requires eggs. So we got a couple eggs. Got a Lupin flour. Gonna put a little bit of salt in there. We got a little Xanthan gum. So Xanthan gum kind of to hold it together, just a little bit more than the eggs. So Lupin flour has 11 carbs, but it has 10 fibers. So its net carb per quarter cup is one carb. So incredibly low carb. There's really no carbs in the Xanthan gum, the salt, or the eggs. I've got a little oat fiber for dusting that I put into this bowl. Oat fiber is 0 carb. So really, really low carb. We're going to see how this works. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do first for this. Now, if this was flour, I would not be doing this with regular flour. But being as this is Lupin flour, Lupins come from a bean. So it's not going to stretch like having gluten in there. So it is going to be a little bit different. This will be more like using gluten-free flour to make pasta, if you've ever done that. It doesn't hold together, doesn't bind together. Gluten gives it the gluey-like structure to stretch. This is not going to do that. So I have 2 pieces of equipment here. So this is my food processor. Then I got my KitchenAid with my pasta attachment on there. I also have a hand roller too, but for ease of use, we're going to do this. So I'm going to do this a little bit backwards. So the eggs are going to go in first. So the reason the eggs are going to go in is because I'm going to put the salt into the eggs, and we're also going to put the Xanthan gum in there as well. So those are going to go in first. Flour will go in last. And the reason why is I want them all to dissolve a little bit while they're in there. So a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of Xanthan gum, 2 eggs. Very easy, very quick. Okay, we got that pulsed up. So it looks like we have some stuff sticking to our sides. So we're not going to go real long in these eggs, but they are mixed for now. Okay. And we are going to start out with only 3/4, using 3/4 of this cup of Lupin flour. So we don't want to use quite all of it just yet. It may not need all of it. I have a feeling it will. I'm using extra large eggs, so that's about a 1/4 cup left in there. Okay, so this dough is still a little bit sticky. It probably won't be so sticky. So I'm going to add the rest of this flour to there. Now, when I filled up the cup of flour and then poured it into here, I poured it from the bag into the cup. So it's not compacted as you're filling it up. So it probably will need all of this. Dancing around the bowl is probably a good thing. All right. So we got this nice bright colored dough here. And most of it has come clean out of this machine. And we're going to need this K-N-E-E-D, not N-E-E-D. So we're going to take a little bit of the oat flour, sprinkle it onto the counter. Let me pan you down here a little bit. So we're going to make sure that this is completely mixed up. So we'll have a little bit of oat flour in there, not too much though. And then we're going to let this sit and rest for about 20 minutes. So there's really no no gluey like texture that you're going to get out of this, because that's what the job of gluten actually is if you were using regular dough. So see, this sticks to my hands just a little bit, which I think that'll be okay. So I just want to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Using the food processor takes a lot of the legwork out of doing that. And you'll notice it didn't have to stay in there too long to get this complete consistency through here. So, all right. So this will have a little bit of a crumbly texture from what I understand working with this dough. But this is going to be 4 portions of this, 4. So excuse the sticky fingers. Get that back on there as best as we can. All right, we're going to put this in this cup here. I'm going to cover this with a piece of plastic wrap. We're going to come back in 20 minutes and I'm going to start rolling out dough. All right, we're back, and I quartered that piece of dough. Not that sticky, but it just a little bit sticky. So we're going to flatten this out as best as we can. So I did a practice one on this, so I'm going to show you guys what I did. So I've got a little bit of, this is oat fiber that is on here. So oat fiber, no carb, again, okay. This flattened out as best as we can. We're going to come up here to the KitchenAid. So this will look kind of like a shaggy mess as it goes through. We're going to set this on 1, that's the biggest one. So the thinner you can get this pressed out or rolled out, the easier it's going to go through here. So this will not look pretty and clean out of the gate. Just want to show you guys what it looks like. So it looks like it's all torn up. Okay, we're going to fold this over on itself. Okay. I've got some oat fiber all over this silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, you should get one. Okay. Maybe even fold this in like so. Okay. Back up. So this is called laminating. So see if I can maybe move this. So this is called laminating when you fold it over like this. So okay. This will probably take 5 or 6 times of doing this. So I'm going to take the edges that are rough right here. We're going to fold them over too. Just give them a really hard press. Okay? These shaggy edges. So it's a nice square piece, or close enough to square. Right? So you see it's starting to come together. It's not looking so shaggy. So we're going to give this one more fold like this. Then move on to the next step. Okay. So every time this comes off, we're going to put a little bit more oat fiber on there. Gonna put it to 2. There's 2. We'll move it to 3. Try not to jump spots. You don't want to go too fast as you're putting this through. Make sure you clean up your edges a little bit. Okay. 3. Click it to 4. Take a look at it. See if it needs just a little bit here and there. You don't want it to stick at this point. Ruin all your hard work. But you don't want to put so much on that you're adding more product to it either, so. Okay, coming together real nicely. At this point, I think we can cut it. Should we try to go to 5? 5's pretty thin. So this will expand in the water too. Okay. All right, turn that off, face this down. So again, okay, give this another quick coat. Okay, we're gonna replace this. And if you have a hand crank, the hand cranks work just great. I'm spoiled with this, I know. Whoops. Human error. Okay, we're gonna cut this sheet in half. So guesstimate about a half, so it's easier to work with. Turn this on 2. Voila, we have keto fettuccine. All right, we're back at the Crazy Kitchen, and I have my fresh homemade pasta that I just made with the Lupin flour. I've got some water on the stove, and I'm gonna put this in there. We're gonna try it together, okay? So this has been boiling. We're gonna grab our pasta. It's coated with a little bit of oat fiber. So, and again, in the water. I realize this is not the correct spoon. So, I made spaghetti and fettuccine. So this is the spaghetti one that I'm trying. So let's stick a lid right back on that. Let's give it a minute. We're gonna try it. So after a minute. I think a minute's all it's gonna take. Fresh pasta always cooks really fast. Doesn't take very long. Anyways, at least from what I've seen. We're gonna get a pair of tongs to get that out. Don't want it sticking together. Give it a quick stir. I've got my preheated meatballs in there. Turkey meatballs, of course. Made by yours truly. Okay. That's been about a minute. Oops. See if I can get one here. I can't get any of them. I just want one. Oh yeah, I would say a minute is all you need. Take our strainer here. We'll come over to the sink real quick off camera. So you guys can see, fresh pasta in there. Turn the stove off. It's almost a little bit on the al dente side. I'm pretty excited about this. So I've got some homemade sauce I heated up here. All right. Made by me.